Before this video starts, I do want to give a disclaimer. Trigger warning. Many's feelings were hurt when they found out about the disc launcher nerf. This video is either going to take away those negative feelings or further reinforce them. This video isn't meant to make anyone angry or feel bad. It's simply meant to explain the greater good of what most of the player base perceives as a bad change. Alright, let's get into it. A lot of people, if not all, have already heard of Mecharena's most recent announcement. They are changing a bunch of weapons, most important of which, the disc launcher receiving a nerf. Many have already shared their hatred of the update both in Discord, comments, and in videos. However, I don't think the situation is as bad as everyone thinks. In fact, I believe the situation is mainly positive, and this video is here to prove that. There are a few points that I want to share as to why the nerf is good, and after that I'll take my time to address some of the reasons why people say the nerf is a bad thing. Alrighty, let's go. This was the most dominant weapon in Mecharena for the longest time. Most 5v5 and 2v2 maps are in closed spaces and or close to mid-range, making them the perfect carnage ground for disc launchers. You could not hide anywhere even if you tried. They were just simply too overpowered. Which leads me to my second point, the back damage. The back damage was a problem. Looking at the stats of disc launcher pre-nerf, of course, they don't look so broken, but as a famous man once said, the back damage mechanic is what makes them so overpowered to the point a tank couldn't withstand a single mag of disc launchers for more than a few seconds. They limit skill. This one is one that many might have not thought of, but something controversial that I've been saying for a long time. There's no skill involved when you shoot the wall to get a kill. Zero. Making it harder to get kills with such a method will force players to adapt other ways to get their kills. And this doesn't mean if you use radius weapons you're unskilled. I believe you should always have 1 or 2 to deal with campers. This is mainly to those who have 2 to 3 disc builds and proclaim themselves to be skilled. This one might be the most controversial one, but it's here nonetheless. Once this nerf was announced, it was predictable that people would immediately cite money as the reason why. The reason why this isn't a money grab from Plarium is because this nerf will actually balance the game. Yes, balance. A good thing. Disc won't become unusable. It simply will now be on par with everything else. Also, what is Plarium supposed to do? People get mad if Plarium doesn't balance the game, and when they do balance it, people get mad. It makes logical sense to balance the game by balancing the strongest weapon. Also, the argument of they make good things so that everyone buys it and then nerfs it is very redundant. Since its release, this launcher was one of, if not the strongest weapon in the game, and it's been that way for 2 years. So to those who say they are taking away my hard-earned money and work by nerfing this launcher, you dominated the arena for 2 years straight. If that isn't your money's worth, I don't know what is. And to my last point of today's video, the opportunities. New weapons that get added to the game now rarely get bought unless they are offered at a low star rating. Why do they rarely get bought? Because they aren't good enough. These are without a doubt the top 3 weapons in the game, and there are some that get close. If these 3 get nerfed to the level of the other strong weapons, a larger variety of weapons can enter the meta and flow of the game. And no, this doesn't mean Plarium did it so you could buy more stuff. It just simply significantly improved gameplay, since it should have never been beneficial to have 2 of the same build in your hangar to begin with. Now I'll take my time to address arguments against the disc launcher nerf and proving why most of them are very redundant. This one is strange to me. People argue that arc turrets and disc launchers are free-to-play weapons, and Plarium nerfing them is a direct attack to free-to-play. Let's start off with the arc turret. Fragment guns are cheaper and better than arc turrets. So why are you complaining that arc turret is getting a nerf? Yeah, I agree it's unnecessary, but that doesn't mean it's against free-to-play. Plus, it's obvious that there's a clear bias towards arc turret for being a fan-favorite weapon. Now to disc launchers. Since when were disc launchers a free-to-play weapon? I mean, maybe the 8, since you could buy them with credits, but that's it. The disc launcher 12 and 16 are nowhere near free-to-play weapons. You could get them with in-game resources, yes, but that doesn't mean it fits into the free-to-play mindset. If anything that could be bought with in-game resources was free-to-play, then people wouldn't be complaining about the prices. Nowadays, free-to-play is limited to a few thousand A coins and credits. There are some that think that since they spent their money on something virtual, that virtual thing isn't subject to change. Since when is that the case? Did you sign a deal with Plarium that said that they couldn't change the game because you bought an item? If so, if that was the case, the game could not change for the better or the worse. That would just be an overall bad thing. Now this is actually a good point. Snipers and disc launchers were counters for each other, so by nerfing one, you essentially buff the others. This is a valid argument, and I believe the next step to the disc launcher nerf is to nerf EM rifle and railgun. Now, I know I'm about to hear it. People are freaking out about their beloved disc launchers being nerfed and forbid if their beloved snipers were balanced too. If the disc launcher nerf is bad because snipers will now be even better, then it's time to nerf the snipers as well. It makes all the sense. With these three weapons being balanced, we will now have an array of balanced weaponry, which having 2 or 3 disc launcher or sniper builds won't be what gets you a win. It will actually be a battle of skill. Will that happen? I don't know. It could, but who's to say if it's soon, or in months, or years, or never. But I certainly think these changes are steps in the right direction, and who knows, maybe we will actually see items like Redox and Carbine finally receive the buffs they deserve. It reinforces camping meta. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but this launcher counters camping meta because of the radius, right? Wow, it's such a shame we don't have any other weapons with radius. Oh wait, and don't forget, we now have Nomad and Seeker, which are incredible anti-camping mechs, Seeker specifically. So you see a quick recap of my points on the screen, and I want to take my time to say that this video is here to showcase the good side of the nerf. Who knows what the nerf will actually be like when it gets here. I could be totally wrong and the disc nerf ends up making the game worse, but there's a high chance it does the opposite. That's why I created this video in the first place. And a little extra thing, some people want compensation for the nerfs and an implant removal discount for a bit so that they can swap out the weapons they won't use as often due to the changes. And I totally agree. This is directed towards Plarium. It would be nice if y'all have some kind of a compensation or an implant removal discount for some time while people get their hangars in order. Will that actually happen? Who knows? But all we can do is hope for the best. I want you all to take away something from this video. The disc launcher is getting nerfed, but nerfed has a bad connotation attached to it. Don't think of it being nerfed, think of it being balanced. They won't become unusable, they simply won't be killing everything left and right, and that's not a problem. That is a great thing. If you have any objections to anything I said, feel free to tell me in the comments. I'll try to reply to most objections in the best way I can. Anyway, I hope you all have a good day, and take care.